Welcome to the 2012 Aloha Clinic Scrimmage Kicks training tapes. We're going to start play number 1 with an illegal block in the back on a punt. It was a correct call. As the play develops, we're going to stop it in a number of different places to take a look. But you can see some action surrounding that corner block, the area where the punter was able to get around the corner and make a long gain. That's where we're going to focus. The first guy, he pulls up. He's highlighted here. You can see him throw his hands up. Not a lot of contact. But the second guy here, he's the one that really gets the guy in the back and throws him down on his face. The next thing that I wanted to point out on this video is the guy highlighted in yellow, his back is turned and he is now considered a defenseless player. And because of his upright position, the person that's highlighted in red has to make every effort and is 100% responsible for not engaging the helmet on that block, that high upright block. Now we're going to come back and look at it from the end zone view as well, as we are right here. First we'll focus on player number 12. He's the guy with the illegal block in the back. Right there, throws the guy to the ground. Number 25 in yellow, he's the defenseless player, and it looks like a very clean block because he kept his helmet out of the area of the upper shoulder and helmet when he was doing his blocking.
During the return, blocking the back on the receiving team, 10-yard penalty from the foul, first down.
Play number 2 was an illegal block in the back that was called on a punt, and this is an incorrect call because it was a continuous block, meaning that the person who was applying the block started in the front, maintained his contact, and then worked his way around the back. In addition to that, didn't appear to be much of a push in the back anyway, but let's look at it here in slow motion. A little bit of jersey grab, a little bit of tug, not a lot there. So what we need to do is we concentrate on this replay, is we need to make sure that we get into that play early enough that we can see the entire action. Right here is the engagement. Now when we slow it down a lot, we might see a slight separation here, but he's right back in it and not much of a push. So we're going to try to make him a little bit bigger than that and stay with the play from start to finish. Moving into play number 3, we're still on the punts and illegal block in the back. This was called an illegal block in the back. It was a correct call, but there's some other things we want to talk about here. We're going to watch it through one time. You'll probably already picked it up. And then we're going to come back and watch it again and talk about a couple of other things. So as we come back to it, I've got the players highlighted here. The one in red to the right blocks the player in white in the back, clearing the way for a fairly substantial gain. I'm going to stop it here because that player in white who's pursuing, he's upright and defenseless, and the onus is on the team in red, both of those players, 100% responsible for keeping their helmet out of the block. In this case, the blocks are clean. It's just something we need to be aware of and watch for to help prevent those serious injuries.
46-yard line.
On the return,
So first and 10,
10-yard penalty.
for the Red Raiders of
Kahuku,
Kahuku
first down.
on the 46-yard line. Down.
Play number 4, and in punts, just like kickoffs, it's point of attack, it's first threat. This is another one of those. It's right down there where the punt is caught. It's an illegal block in the back. It's correctly called, and it calls back a 60-yard return. I know we don't like to call back 60-yard returns, but when the illegal act itself is what results in that return, and in this case, that's absolutely what happened, then we need to get it. These guys got it. It was a correct call. There's no question about it. Excellent job by the crew. Play number 5, we're going to get back into approach angles because an illegal block in the back was called on this, and it was an incorrect call. You can watch this play all the way through. There's a couple of close things here and there, but this is really a clean return all the way. And the one in question is coming up right there at the end or on the 10-yard line. It's going to show up very clearly on the end zone tape. So you can check out a lot of different blocks on this play. And I'll slow it down when we get into this area here where the block occurred. Now you can see it developing, and that's a great approach angle and a side block all the way. But because the guy flops on his face, because he turned his back a bit, it's called an illegal block in the back. We need to see the whole thing and not be fooled by a play like that. Play number 6, another block in the back. I spent a lot of time on these on punts because there's a lot of them and there's a lot of things that we need to judge. So we're going to watch it quickly through here, and then we'll watch it again and we'll break it down a little bit. But the players are highlighted. You'll see that the runner is heading their direction, so the approach angle is bad. It is at the point of attack, and it was picked up by the officiating crew, so this is a nice job. And what I like about these plays as they open up is you can see who's responsible. The referee has a threatened runner. He can't get it. So the umpire is going to have to look into that area and try to pick it up. And also the wing official, who's on the left side of this end zone view, has a great opportunity to pick up that block.
That's what they call block in the back on the receiving team. 10-yard penalty from the foul. First down.
Play number 7 is the last of the punt plays with illegal block in the back emphasis. Now I'm going to let you watch this sideline view at full speed. You'll probably see some action going on that you might consider a block in the back. We're going to come back to the end zone view now and take a look at the highlighted players in the lower left-hand corner. These are the two that I want to watch because that guy lets him get ahead of him, blocks him in the back, pushes him to the ground at the point of attack. Now that block happening there, that's nothing. That's a good side block. That's a clean block. But that one that happened right there at the point of attack before he turned the corner, that's the one we want to get, and that's the one they got. Play number 8, I want you to focus on the backfield on this highlighted player. Now this is somebody that the referee is probably going to have to pick up on this illegal low block, which it was. It didn't look like much. The blocker did not lose his feet, but he did initiate his contact low on the thigh or at the knee of the rushing defender. That's an illegal low block, and we need to pick that up, and we missed this one. This is a similar play, play number 9. This is an offensive hold on the left tackle. Same thing, referee, you've got a pretty good view at this. Now, if I'm wrong and the referee's looking at the other side, then figure out your mechanic that will work. But in my best case scenario, the referee can look right through there and take a look at the backs and the left tackle. And when this is a fake, he can see that yank, which in this case he does. He picks up the offensive hold, makes the announcement. The guy's short. They declined it. Just a great job.
Holding on the offense. That penalty is refused. Results of the play, short of the first down.
I'm going to spend some time on play number 10. There was an illegal low block that was called against the kicking team. Now, there was an illegal low block there, but it was not against the kicking team. It was against the return team. So somebody got confused with this player highlighted here as being part of the kicking team, when in fact he is part of the return team, and he commits the illegal low block there. After the play is over, the wing official highlighted here throws a flag for a sideline interference, which they called a 5-yarder. Now, we're going to watch this at a little bit of a slow motion speed from this angle, and I want to watch what he does. Let's stop and look at that again. As this receiver is coming up, he has to take a look back, and yes, there's a coach or someone from the administration in the box slightly, and he looks back and loses track of the runner, and he shoves that person out of bounds. That is not an acceptable mechanic for our officials. What we need to do, if we're going to throw a flag on them, that's fine, but run around them. We do not want to be putting our hands on people and shoving them or pushing them, which could possibly result in an injury to them. The only exception to that would be if you are physically in danger and you need to protect yourself. Okay, enough of that. Now, play number 11 is a KCI play and a very easy call to make because he gets there early and he hits him pretty forcefully. Now, what I want to talk about on this play as we look at the sideline view a little bit tighter a couple of times is that that receiver is defined as a defenseless player, and the kicking team is responsible 100% for keeping the helmet out of this contact. In this case, it is out of the contact. But had he come in and initiated a helmet-to-helmet contact on a high-speed hit like this, I would expect that that guy would be riding the pine for the rest of the game, because that is a disqualifying safety hit.
And it's going to be where it was kicked from.
Play number 12, we're going to get into a couple of plays for roughing the kicker, in this case roughing the punter. And you can see a pretty forceful contact there. There's a fair catch, and we shut everything down. So we're going to take one more good look at it here. Again, defenseless player. You have to keep the helmet out of it. Now, I don't consider this a flagrant foul because it's incidental helmet contact and not a drive of the helmet into the kicker. If it's a drive, consider disqualification. If it's incidental, it's roughing.
Roughing the kicker on a defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
So the first
Play number 13 is another roughing the punter called, correctly so I believe. You'll see here on the full speed end zone that it's a pretty forceful contact. And I know we talk about whether you hit the plant leg or whether you hit the helmet, incidental, or whether you drive the helmet. But even if you don't do any of those, if it's a forceful contact like this, the correct call is roughing the kicker.
There's no foul. Roughing the kicker on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
So Bears.
Next couple of plays, 14-15, these are just mechanics by the back judge near the goal line. You can see that we're punting from inside the 50, and in this case the ball lands short of the goal line, and then the goal line is threatened. What I'm concerned about on this, even though we're in a 7-man, is that the back judge does not cut the field in half and come in and help with this ruling, which is pretty tight. Ultimately ruled a touchback, correctly so. But I would like to see the back judge get down there and help out with this call. Play number 15 is another back judge mechanic, and in this case he's got good initial position because the goal line is threatened with the kick. So he's right on the goal line, the ball bounces, and then he backs off of the goal line, but the goal line is still in play. And then after that, you see the beanbag get tossed in when the kicking team downs the ball. Now this is a thinking game. We try not to do things automatically that we don't necessarily have to do. Every one of our moves and thought processes have a purpose. So we need to stay on the goal line from a safe distance. If we need to move down, that's fine. And if we don't need our beanbag, we don't throw it. In this case, the kicking team down the ball at the 6-yard line, so beanbag is not necessary. Play number 16, speaking of a thinking game, this is a punt that has a net 1-yard result. So you can see that it bounces back and it is recovered by the kicking team 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage. The only caution I would like to provide for you here is that if that ball would have bounced another 2 yards back and recovered by the kicking team, it's then a live ball, so don't be too quick on your whistle. Play 17 and 18 has to do with the punt out of bound mechanic, and I know guys like to line up with the referee and do the whole arm chop, but let me tell you, it's grossly overrated. The ball here lands out of bounds at the 15. Just go spot the ball at the 20. You don't need the referee. And if you do, just stop at the 20 and chop like he gave you the signal. In this case, it's a little bit funny that he has to run up and stop and kind of back up and puts it at the 26.5-yard line. I guarantee you, based on where that punt was kicked and where it landed out of bounds, the 20 was a much better spot. And if that ball is very close like that, you've got a good look at it. Just go put it on a big yard line. Speaking of big yard lines, now play number 18, this ball is kicked about 10 yards out of bounds. So if you want to go through the process on this one, that's fine. But he's only there to get you close because he can't see exactly where the ball landed, and he can't tell if it was curving to the right or curving to the left. He's got duties of his own watching the kicker. So go down there. When he gets you into a general area, if you need the help, find a big yard line. In this case, the 40-yard line. Ball was spotted at the 38. Nothing wrong with that. But if I get out my ruler and measure it on the field, it's closer to the 40 than the 38, so just find a big yard line. I'm going to move into field goal mechanics, and this has to do with the signal under the goalpost, whether you're going to signal no good or touchback. In this case, you can see him signal touchback. But I'm going to tell you the general rule of thumb is the goal line. If the ball lands in the field of play, it will pull you off the end line, and therefore it's appropriate to signal touchback. If the ball lands in the end zone or beyond the end line, by rule, it's going to be a touchback regardless of what happens. It does not pull you off the end line. So just give the no good signal. Play number 20, same thing. This is short of the crossbar, but it goes over the end line, and you got one guy giving a touchback signal. Just give the no good signal. Everybody knows we're going to the 20-yard line. Play number 21. This is a fake field goal, and the holder's going to pitch. And the tip-off here, many times, is if the holder's knees are off the ground. So referees, umpires, be aware of what your holder's doing, because if his knees are off the ground, you got a lot greater chance of having a fake field goal, so you can be prepared for it. Play number 22. This is a field goal block for a return. I just put it in there. There's nothing really to talk about other than be ready. Anything can happen on any play. And just like on a free kick, where I always tell myself it's an onside kick until the kicking team proves me wrong, just like that on a field goal, I always say it's going to be blocked until the kicking team proves me wrong. And then you will be prepared and in a position to hopefully react accordingly if you have a big block like this in a return for a touchdown. Play number 23 I'm putting in because you don't see it very often. It's a field goal where there's a penalty and they take the points off the board, and I thought the officiating crew did a nice job of administering and announcing what was happening to the crowd.
Personal foul. Roughing the kicker. On the defense. Kamehameha elects. Take the points off the board. Automatic first down.
They get it.
Play 24 is the last play on this tape, and it involves the play clock in regards to the end of the second quarter or the fourth quarter. But in this case, the second quarter. There's only 4 seconds on the game clock, and after the field goal is kicked, there's 1 second on the game clock, and then they went ahead and had another kickoff. I timed this. It takes more than 4 seconds for this to happen. Take control of the game and the game clock, and avoid that unnecessary kickoff to end the first half.
Of Alvarado. And Alvarado gonna put the hand down. This kick a lot of leg. True. Put 3 on the board for Pac-5. There's 1 second left in the first half. Holy smokes. Turns of events there.
If you got money, honey,